Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I am Dial, and this is another edition of my life. And today we are on the road to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. That's right. We're going to be talking about all four Indiana Jones films leading up to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny coming out in June. And joining with me today for the first time on my channel, I believe, I have fellow YouTuber, the friendly neighborhood Meta. How are you doing, sir?
Is it really my first time on your channel?
This is the first time.
We sure about that?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Because you weren't on my Matrix streams or my Batman streams.
Wait, what Batman streams did you do?
I talked about all the Batman films leading up to the Batman.
Yeah, I was still AFK at the time. That's why. But I'm here now, and I'm here to talk about a franchise that I have actually, up until recently, have never seen before.
Wait. Pause. Wait a
Except, okay, again, I told you that's a half truth. I have seen all the quote unquote bad movies of this trilogy, but I have never seen Raiders or The Last Crusade.
Oh, that's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Well, I'm interested to see your first reactions whenever we get to the other movies. But wow, we got first reactions on this channel.
First reactions to a franchise that I'll be honest, right? Okay, so growing up, love Star Wars, love Harrison Ford as Han Solo, love him. My mom was like, "Oh, well, he played in this other film series, when I was little Meta," and she was like, "Oh, it's so good. It's called Indiana Jones," and I was just like, "Okay, what does he do?" Well, he's an adventurer. He goes and he finds stuff, and I'm already lost interest. I'm bored.
Oh wow, you're one of those people.
It didn't capture my attention. I'm sorry. It
How does it
boring.
not capture your attention? It's like an adventure
boring.
serial. What's okay? Well, we're gonna get into it today.
I like lasers.
Oh yeah, you're like in Toy Story. Like once the astronauts went up, people only want to play with space toys.
Yeah, that was me.
All right. Well,
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Oh,
Like,
that was depressing too when I saw that because I'm a Woody person. But yeah, man. So yeah, this is very similar to that too. Indiana Jones and Star Wars. It's like Woody versus Buzz.
well, let me because I did a bit of research about Indiana's
Well,
Indiana's.
before we do that, we got a couple of preambles to do as always. First, let's look at the chat real quick. We have Strange Marvel Theories. First one to comment. Appreciate you being here. Also, I believe we're gonna have somebody else to join us because they just messaged me, be like, "I want to be on. I want to be on." So I'm about to send a link to them right now. I'm gonna leave a surprise to who it's gonna be, but we will not be alone. But give me 1 second.
You're making me nervous.
No, 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 no. Like it's no one bad. If you guys have followed my channel, you guys know who this. You guys know who this person is. Um, but anyway, before we start getting to detail, oh, let me actually put some music on because I really have some music on. Let's put some music on. Nope, not that one. Nope, not that one.
That's my music.
That's your music. Oh, I use it too.
There
I
you
see you.
go.
I see you, man. I'm about to bring you in a second. Nope, that's not it either. No. Live streaming is awesome, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Sure, I'll go with that. Let's go with that. All right. Also joining with us today, returning back to the channel, I am fellow YouTuber and Twitch streamer, Ruby Groovy. What's going on, my man?
Oh, Twitch streamer. I'm sorry to break it to you. I actually haven't been on Twitch for maybe like a month or so, but that's actually kind of my fault. But anyways, what's going on, guys?
Whoa, wait a minute. Pause. Because we need to address some things. Because I just saw you doing sponsorships with Twitch. What was all that about?
Well, okay, so I did all of that stuff and it kind of went well, and then there was just a point, and I kind of hit a point where I was just kind of like, okay, I kind of need a break from all of this stuff. But I honestly, it's kind of been like the best couple of weeks I've had in a while, because, you know, I don't know how many people knew about this, but I have a wedding coming up pretty soon, in about a month and a half, actually. And what happens when you're a month and a half away from wedding time? It is crunch time. You don't really get a lot of time to do all of the things that keep you entertained for the most part. That I can kind of say that from both sides. So, you know, it's been difficult to try and balance Twitch with all of that stuff going on, but I'm making life work for the most part. Definitely by the time the wedding stuff is over with, I will eventually get, and like every once in a while I'll probably get on Twitch whenever I feel like there's literally nothing special happening. But in the meantime, just deal with it, because we are not robots. We are humans, and we can't do everything all the time, you know. So
Very true. Like I wish I could be full time. Oh yeah, he's a Kirby stan. He's a Kirby stan.
Kirby.
for life.
But yeah, like I'm
Make a
working
movie
my way
already,
up.
damn it.
Oh, they will. Oh, you know they will after Super Mario Brothers. You know they will.
We were just talking about that backstage, actually.
Yep. I'm not liking this music. I need to change it. Sorry,
not
guys.
liking this
I love that
You're just
lo-fi
letting it
music. Come on,
play.
bro.
Oh, that's Ray's music right there.
Everyone has their own music, for God's sake. Just
I know. Because I don't
we're
want to use the
wasting
same.
precious time here.
We are. We're like 9 minutes in. We still haven't talked about it. Oh, this is nice. Okay, we'll go with that.
I won't,
Anyway.
I
Huh?
won't tell you that I use this one too, so you will continue the stream anyway.
Oh, that tells me that you use it. Okay. Well, anyway, let us get into Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm never saying that again. That was horrible. No, it's called Raiders of the Lost Ark. I don't care what the Blu-rays say. I don't care what Paramount Plus says. It is called
Excellent.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, not Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. That drove me nuts. When I was making a thumbnail for this, like all I could see is Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. I couldn't
To be
find a
fair,
proper one.
I'm sorry, that sounds like a complete title.
Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes, because it fits the tone of what's the newest one called? DL?
The Dial of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. But
Thank you.
To be fair, the previous one, the one before that, was Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and that one's also kind of a tongue twister.
How is
Fair
that I don't know how that's
it's a lot of words. It's a lot of words.
It's a lot of words, but it's not a tongue twister. Like, I think it's just very what's the word? It's very long, basically.
It is very long. But anyway, let's get into Raise of the Lost Ark. And as always, we have to remind the people out there, this is a spoiler-filled discussion. We're going to be talking about this movie as if you've already seen it, but this movie's 30 years old, over 30 years old. So
at
if you
this
have
point,
not
man,
seen
like,
it,
42.
42. 42.
Wait, what?
As of next month, it'll be 42.
No
My
way.
God.
1981, baby.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah,
Wow.
No, I guess it makes sense that Harrison Ford is 80 years
Feel
old right
old
now.
yet?
No, actually.
Well, this came out before we were born, but
True.
either way, Harrison Ford should be feeling old because he's 80 years old right now. But anyway, you guys have been warned. Spoilers from this point forward.
For a 40-year-old movie.
Yep. So,
And I'll go ahead and start. A 40-year-old movie that's not as good as Temple of Doom.
okay, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. I should boot you out the stream right now.
You know what this is. You know
should
what's
boot
good.
you out the
Oh,
stream
no.
right freaking now.
You know what this is, DL. You know what this
How
is.
were you raised?
Hold on.
Great.
Hot
Had a
take.
loving
take.
family, had a great support system. I'm kidding. That was all imaginary lies.
And the trade-off was you had to watch all of the bad ones. Oh dear.
I told DL this. The singular reason I have even seen Temple of Doom, again, because I've never seen Indiana Jones films, but in middle school it was field day and it was raining. So what do you do on field day when it's raining? You watch a movie in class. And my history teacher was like, "Let's watch Temple of Doom because." Temple of Doom.
Temple of
because
Doom.
we had to go with the cheapest option, of course. All right.
Yep.
That's what we're
Indeed.
going with.
Indeed.
Oh boy, this is going to be interesting.
Oh,
Yeah,
Temple of Doom also beats Crystal Skull by like a fucking mile.
okay. Wow, we just off the gate with hot takes. We haven't even got to those movies yet. Anyway, let's get
You
focused.
know how I am, DL. You know how I get.
I get it, yes, but let's get focused. So
Also, I am kidding about the first hot take. It's. I was just trying to get DL riled up.
yeah, you already did. But anyway, so my first introduction to Indiana Jones, funny enough, was Disney World. So this was after I was exposed to the Star Wars movies, obviously. So I already knew who Harrison Ford was, but I never saw Indiana Jones before then. But my first actual exposure to Indiana Jones was actually when I went to Disney World at Hollywood Studios, and they had that Indiana Jones stunt spectacular. So obviously my dad, who took me at the time, knew about it, and we went to see it. I'm surprised he hasn't shown me the movies yet, because he already showed me Star Wars. But anyway, I went to see that stunt show spectacular at Hollywood Studios, and I was instantly hooked with all of it. I thought it was not only it was a really good show, but it got me instantly interested to know, what is Indiana Jones? What is that? I have never heard that before. I'm lying, because I've heard Indiana Jones in like pop culture, like I've seen references in TV shows and movies and stuff like that. But I haven't actually had to sit down and watch Indiana Jones. But after that stunt spectacular I saw at Disney World, I'm like, I need to go watch this. So I literally asked my dad, "Can I watch Indiana Jones?" And he was apprehensive at first because the Indiana Jones movies are not exactly family friendly, but he saw how excited I was for it, so he was like, "You know what? Fine. I'll have you sit down and watch Raiders of the Lost Ark and see how it is, because you already watched The Matrix and stuff like that, so it's like you're already exposed to that. And I know you've been watching horror without me asking, so yeah, I guess might as well watch Indy." So,
Reminder that Scream does not count as horror.
I notice I did not say Scream. I did not mention Scream.
I'm just saying. You're watching horror. No, I'm watching a thriller. Thank you very much.
That's the horror and thriller like cousins.
You're watching a horror movie? No, I'm watching a movie about horror films.
Imagine you don't know what the genre of thriller is, and they think you're watching Michael Jackson's music video.
This is
I watch a thriller. No, not that thriller. This one.
Thriller night.
But yeah, I'm with you. I saw that ride at almost at Universal Studios.
No, not quite.
Disney World. I have known what Indiana Jones is. My mother tried her hardest to get me into it. It just didn't capture my attention like Star Wars did. Star Wars was this big space, I almost said opera. This like grand, what's it called? It's a word for it.
I mean, it is a space opera technically.
It is a space opera,
it
but
technically
like
is.
Space drama. That's what it is. Like the space drama, and it captured my attention instantly. Indiana Jones just did not do that. This is gonna actually make you mad, DL. My mother got me the box set, DVD box set. Never watched them.
It was just collecting dust.
It was collecting dust until I traded it at a pawn shop.
What? You did what?
To be fair, I mostly did that because of re-releases, and if I'm gonna have a re-release of these movies, I'm gonna get them on Blu-ray
Fair
over
enough.
DVD.
Honestly, that is the way to go, though.
Yeah, I have the Blu-ray.
So I
of
did
all
that for
four
a
movies.
legitimate reason, not because of lack of interest, but just because I'm like, this has a Blu-ray and a 4K set. I can get one of those and have a better experience visually.
Fair enough. I do own the Blu-ray set of all four movies too, and they look really good on Blu-ray. But yeah, so sitting down and actually watching Raiders of the Lost Ark, I was mesmerized as a kid. I already unlike Meta, I already was predisposed to adventure action movies because I do like those type of films. So, and seeing Harrison Ford in those type of movies, it really got me interested. But man, I was blown away with Raiders of the Lost Ark. And watching it recently, for this stream, I'm just so impressed with what Spielberg and George Lucas put together. This is another one of those properties very similar to the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, where they didn't have much faith in it. The studio didn't have much faith in the movie, and they pretty much was working with not a lot. They didn't give them a big budget, but Spielberg and Lucas had an idea. They had this one idea, and they made the best of it. And it's this movie ended up being, at least in my opinion, one of the best action movies I've ever seen. It definitely set the bar with stunts and practical set pieces, explosions, all that stuff. There's stuff done in this movie that you don't see today. I mean, unless you're Tom Cruise, of course, because he likes to do everything. But as far as action, you don't see stuff like this anymore. And on top of that, Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones end up being probably one of the most iconic characters in cinema. And here's a hot take for everybody. Here, let me get the hot take button on. I enjoy Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones more than I do as Han Solo.
That is your own stream.
Actually, I could see that because if we're looking
I
at,
can see it too.
In terms of how Harrison Ford perceives as how he wanted it in terms of enjoying Han Solo and enjoying Indiana Jones, he would rather go on to make maybe 10 more Indiana Jones films before he even makes one more Star Wars film. So that's in terms of what kind of roles that Harrison Ford specifically likes. He really likes this role of Indy, and he's played this role really well. And you can feel both of those really sort to elevate into his performance in all of the films, even in some of the films that are very lower in quality. For me, it's Temple of Doom and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but you still see that Harrison Ford charm come out as Indiana Jones more than Han Solo. So I could see that.
Yeah,
I can too. Han Solo as a character just isn't as in depth, and that's also because of how he's written as a character. Indy is the protagonist of the story. Han Solo is a side character. But even then, we grow to love Han in the trilogy, but we still don't know a lot about him as a character. Again, and that's just because he's a side character versus protagonist. But Yeah, I see why you could say I see why you would say that, DL.
Yeah, it's just like with this, even though like they expand on this character more as we get into the sequels, but like what I just found like Indy as a character is just more like fascinating, I guess. There's more to chew with this role, exactly. With not only with him being like this treasure hunter that carries a whip and kicks ass, shoots guns, but like he's also a college professor. It's like I rarely see that type of dichotomy in a character. Like they're like these two different sides of him are like so different, but like they mesh together so well. And as you guys said, Harrison Ford, as far as like, I'm not saying that he was bad performance wise as Han Solo, because that's definitely not the case. But just it feels like Harrison is more passionate about this character, and I could see it in his performance. You feel like he's really engaged with this world and like how his character is. So I just found him much more engaging to watch. And like as I said before, like we do love the space operas. We like the lasers and everything, and the lightsabers from Star Wars. But like this just feels more impressive because like it feels more grounded. There's not a bunch of space stuff going on in this movie, at least not yet, not till we get to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But anyway, seeing like this adventure serial where he's doing all these crazy stunts, he's like running in the Amazon, he's dealing with a bunch of booby traps and like temples and ancient artifacts and stuff like that. I just found that all that engaging. Now they do bend stuff from actual like ancient history. Not all that is 100% accurate. They play with it, but they bend it enough where it's like you could still buy into what they're telling you in the movie.
Except where the ark's location is, because we all know it's in Ethiopia.
Yeah. So
I actually looked into that. I may or may not have watched the History Channel, and there was a special about where's the Ark of the Covenant, and it's like, is Indiana Jones correct? And I'm like, why does this film feel like a Matt Pat video? Like,
man, good, man, I don't know.
But
overall, I love this movie. I think it's absolutely great. We'll go to you, Beto. What is your overall thoughts on Raiders of the Lost Ark?
So before I get to that, I have to ask this question to both of you. Do you know what Harrison Ford was before he made it big in Hollywood?
Yeah, he was a carpenter.
That's how George discovered him. I find that fascinating. He was just like, oh, I gotta find this actor for this role. Gosh. And then I just imagine, hey, how do you want us to build your deck? You're perfect. You're perfect, kid. Like, what? Like, I just imagine that it's just like a very awkward, like, what are you talking about? But another thing I did was research on because everything is inspired by something else. And Spielberg and Lucas are both massive fans of old Hollywood. They've said this 1,000 times. They love old Hollywood. So these are some of the films that I found that Indy was based on. Like, Indiana Jones as a character is supposed to be a mixture of Rick from Humphrey Bogart's character from Casablanca, and I'm trying to remember the other character that he was supposed to be based off of. But anyway, like some of the things that it was inspired by were, of course, Casablanca, The Adventures of Robin Hood from 1938, Lawrence of Arabia, those types of films, James Bond, the original James Bond films, King Solomon's Mines, all the Maltese Falcon, like all these classic Hollywood era films and serials were what Indy's origin is based on. I am saying all this also to remind everyone that those serials were sometimes campy and ridiculous and fun. Remember this. It will come up later in the next review. Now,
okay.
As to what I thought about the Raiders of the Lost Ark, or Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's alright. I understand why this film was such a craze when it came out, because it it brought back again all these stuff from the older era and shined a new light on it and put a new spin on it, and it just made it feel relevant again and new. and like it's so campy. Like I love the camp, I do, and some of the lines are absolutely hilarious in the film. Indiana, I think that, and this may be me psychoanalyzing way too deep, but like, because Harrison Ford was a carpenter, I suspect that means he likes a lot more grounded roles than, things like Han. So that's probably why he loves Indy over Han as a character that he has to play. It has to go to, like, he likes more grounded characters. And if you also look at like his filmography, like you can see he plays a lot of grounded characters. But yeah, overall, I really didn't. It was fun, and again, films should be fun. I mean, we analyze these films like because they are art also, but one of the parts of this particular form of art is to have fun, and that's what Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark is. It is fun. There's also one last thing I forgot to mention to you. I technically did. I'm putting very big quotation marks. Technically. Did see Raiders early. It was just through the Lego game.
Do I even want to count that?
I think you should. It's the beats of the film just without all the dialogue.
But the dialogue is important.
But the Lego game showed the film faster and had me interested more than the actual movie as a kid.
Oh my god! How many times
for a kid?
How many times I gotta put up this hot take shit? Like good God!
I will say though, the part that I was looking forward to seeing in real, this is actually kind of morbid. The part I was looking forward to seeing from Lego form into the actual film was the fight with the big German with the airplane. Because as a kid, I'm like, wait, what happened to him?
Oh, good God!
Oh, we know exactly what happened to him. He turned into ketchup. Anyway, we go to you, Ruby. What is your overall thoughts on Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yeah. So Raiders. I'm gonna keep this as simple as I can because I feel like every time I give my opinions on something, especially if it's like a newer project, I usually take about like maybe 10 or 15 minutes. But since this is Raiders, we're talking about. Really, what more is there to be said about this film? It opened the gates for new ideas on what to do with practical effects. Like, if you want an example of what you could do with practical effects, look no further than Raiders, because this film had so much practical effects. That's probably like the big like standout of the Indiana Jones franchise as a whole. It's I don't know, man. Just the score is incredible. The characters really get along with each other. They're like, even the ones that are like rivals to each other and don't really like each other, you still love their banter towards each other and you just want to see more of it. The story is it's very interesting how they go through this character who is, yes, a professor, but also goes on these wacky adventures. So you get to see multiple sides of the coin here. I just find that very interesting about Indy as a character. There's so much about this movie. It's one of the best adventure movies. It's got some of the best action sequences, and it's more so for Temple of Doom. But this was one of the main reasons why we were given a PG-13 rating in later movies. Again, Temple of Doom kind of did that more with their very, I guess, spooky,
I believe the term you're looking for is fucked up shit.
Yeah, spooky effects to
nightmare fuel.
Exactly. Yeah. That's where the rating PG-13 was invented. It was mainly because of the Indiana Jones franchise. Because before that, Raiders is PG and Temple of Doom is PG. So when you look at these images, you're like, this should be PG-13. Where's that PG-13?
I love the old rating
existed. It never existed.
The old rating system didn't make a lot of sense because you go from G to this kind of PG,
freaking
which is PG-13.
I don't know if y'all seen the meme, but it's like the PG-13 films in the 80s. You may say fuck, but only once. And it can't be, and when you're using it, it can't be about sex.
Yep.
So, Yeah, it is nuts. Like rewatching this. I mean, I always knew that the movies were dark, but like rewatching it, like this should not have been PG. Like none of the movies should have been PG. Yes, I'm even counting Crystal Skull because that's not PG. That didn't feel like a PG movie. All of them felt like PG-13.
Felt like a fever
films.
dream. Some of the shit in that movie. I did see that one. I'm like, what am I watching? John Hurt has ants like crawling out of his body. Like,
Yeah, that was dark. Like, whoa.
That was actually insane. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the death and the gore from the Indiana Jones franchise is what mainly paved the way for the rating PG-13 to come in. You know, another movie that should have been like in the talks for like, you know, back then, like we should have made a PG-13 rating. Jaws. That's PG.
Jaws, yeah, that had no business being PG.
That had no that is a rated R flat.
Yes.
Easily.
And I think like the actual movie that really set it well Temple of Doom definitely set it off, but like apparently the movie that really set it off that there should be a PG-13 rating was Gremlins.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Gremlins was the one where it's like, okay, we need PG-13. This is not for kids. This is not for kids.
Like E.T. is one thing, but Gremlins.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and just hot take central over here. I didn't care for that film.
Okay. Sorry, you gotta go. Sorry about that, guys. I can't take this. Too many hot takes today.
Oh
Too
my
many.
God.
Too many. Oh my
I wanted to kick Gizmo like a puppy when I was a kid. I hated him.
Oh my God.
My mom's like, "Oh, he's adorable." I'm like, I want to drown him.
Oh wow. Oh man.
Like, I hated Gizmo's stupid face.
Damn.
I'm
Gizmo
sorry.
was amazing, man. Gizmo was great.
No, it's awful.
But yeah, anyway.
But yeah,
man.
Just to wrap up my quick thoughts on Raiders, honestly, there really isn't like much to say in terms of like I don't have very many bad thoughts on this film, if I'm being honest. It's just it's one of those movies where like you want to call it one of those like quintessential perfect movies, but we also got to consider the fact that like no movie is really going to be perfect. But then you go to see Raiders and you kind of think, well,
I got a question.
Yeah.
Is that scene in The Big Bang Theory true?
I don't watch The Big Bang Theory.
Wait,
there's a scene where like Penny basically says that without Indy, the Nazis would have just defeated themselves.
I was kind of thinking about that.
She's kind of right. They still would have opened the Ark and
opened the Ark and died. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's also the whole point of the Indiana Jones franchise is that it's an adventure film, and it's us going on this adventure with Indy. And so the whole point of it was that like Indy was interrupting, the Nazis from getting the Ark. And so that's where that whole banter sort of like got started, I guess. So
yeah, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
And it's really about the journey and how we have perceived of people.
Listen,
I guess.
I don't mind going on a car ride with you, but I kind of want to know where we're going. I'm just saying. I don't mind.
That's somebody being spoiled. That's somebody spoiled.
I want to know where we're going. I want confirmation. Where are we going? Are we going to the gas station? Are we going to McDonald's? Where are we going? Don't just like, oh, we'll see where the road takes us. No.
That's how movies should be. It's like you should want to know everything ahead of time. You should want to be surprised.
I don't want to know everything ahead of time. I just want to know like what are we getting to? Like and for that film, for Indy, it is to watch the Nazis die, which that's it, boys. We did it. We made the perfect movie.
Hey, that's very satisfying to me. I don't know about you.
It was satisfying to me because
damn Skippy.
They really sold the idea on like, yeah, these are the Nazis and we were born and raised to hate Nazis. And what do we want to see happen to Nazis? What we see in Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, if I actually, I guess I couldn't see it because my face would then also be melted off. But I don't think I want Aboriginal spirits coming from an ancient biblical item to come. Like that's to be fair, they are really fucked up deaths.
They really are. With their faces melted,
Mhm.
like that was.
I'm
that
sorry,
was
with how
very
dated
jarring.
that looks, so I couldn't help but laugh. I laughed so hard at the special effects.
What do you mean?
And they were
Have you
so
seen?
good too.
Yeah, have you seen somebody melted in real life like that? Have you seen people melt from the Ark of the Covenant? How do you
I
know?
mean, not literally, but metaphorically, yes.
Oh my goodness! But I thought that actual effect was done really, really well, personally. Because I'm still trying to wonder how they made that scene happen. It is a mixture of stop motion. Was it like, I know it's an actual like puppet they did, but like that looked really convincing to me. Like even me just watching it, I'm just like, wow, that was really good effect what they
One
did.
of the things that the
Mhm.
film does have for it is that it's not like this big, again, it's not Star Wars. It doesn't need a lot of special effects. It just, a lot of it is practical. So the
Mhm.
budget, even though it was small for this film, wasn't needed for as much stuff as like something for Star Wars would have been. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, probably getting like era accurate vehicles. I always imagine that's like an actual like mega cost for films, because it's like if you want authenticity, you got to buy like the real cars, and sometimes those cars are not cheap.
Yep,
If-
and
you know,
you gotta blow them up and all that stuff.
yeah, and so I'm
And
like,
that also
God.
that's also combined with the other vehicle. Like yeah, you have the cars, you have the planes, even the locations. Finding like a secure location for that kind of like setting, even in today's times, never easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
It's
just
not like you're gonna walk into like a corporate office of that location and with a handful of paperwork and just say, "Yep, just sign right here and we're good to go."
I will acquire all your vehicles today. Thank you very much. Sign on the
And all of your
line.
locations, and you will never see them tomorrow. Thank you.
I just imagine like Lucas going to like an auction dealer and he's betting on getting like a 1920s vehicle or 1930s vehicle. Is just 240. I'll ask for 240. Yeah, 240 going once, going twice. Sold. Yay. Like,
yeah, man.
But like I'll also say this, like Indy is just as much, even though again it's not my favorite franchise, I do like it now. It's so ingrained in pop culture to the point where, and this is, I'm looking at Ruby's profile, but also just my background, I love games. Indiana Jones definitely was an inspiration for Tomb Raider, and Tomb Raider then went and inspired Uncharted. So we kind of have gone full circle with gender as far as like adventurers go.
Unfortunately, we had that Tom Holland movie. Unfortunately,
DL, I'm gonna say this: I didn't hate the film.
more power to you. I like
It. In all honesty, you're gonna hate me for this. It felt like that same type of adventure, Indiana Jones adventure film thing. It just.
Okay.
Hold on. Not the same caliber. Not the same caliber, but it's trying to be like that.
It gets the same idea across.
Yeah, it gets the same idea across.
Fair enough. Same thing with the
before you
Tomb
ban
Raider.
me again to the Shadow Realm.
I'll even give some credit to the Tomb Raider remake as well. Like it gave a similar vibe, I guess. But yeah. Anyway,
But at the end of the day, you're not topping Indy,
No,
or
you're
it'll
not,
be
because
it'll be very, very difficult to top Indy.
There's
Very
so many like iconic quotes and lines, like
we meet again, Dr. Jones. There's nothing you can possess that I cannot acquire.
You know, the top men, scene.
good men. Or no, it is Top Men. Excuse me. I was honestly gonna do a bit for DL, but I couldn't do it. I was gonna be like, "Great shot, kid! That was 1 million." No, wait, like,
Wrong.
get
one.
off my plane. No, that's not it. Oh, I know. Here's looking at you, kid. all the great quotes from Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I hate snakes, man. I hate him.
But in all seriousness, though, one of my favorite lines from the film, Esp, very, very dangerous, very poisonous. You go first.
Man, yeah. That's one of the also things I love about this, about Indiana Jones, is that while he is like this, this action guy that like is very experienced and like you could tell that he's been doing this for years, they don't make him a perfect character, like he has his weaknesses. He has his, there are times where he doesn't get the job done. There are times where he gets outsmarted. There are times where he gets betrayed. So I like that they still kept that human aspect where he's not able to get out of every obstacle or, whatever situation he's getting into. That makes him more relatable, and it makes the danger all more real, that like you don't know if he's going to get out of this okay. You don't know if he's going to get the upper hand on other people. And when he gets into like stuff like he's very really scared of snakes. I loved how they established that in the movie, like that's his biggest fear. And when he has to be confronted with snakes, like when he went to that pit and there's just a whole bunch of snakes, like
Yes.
yeah, he was going nuts. So it's just like I like that it didn't just make him
I want to point this out because I'm sorry. This is it's a very, very small nitpick, but I growing up, I love snakes. I love reptiles. I love animals. I would watch Animal Planet nonstop. When I saw that stinking cobra, I just was like, that's not real. That's not true. There are no cobras in Africa. There's no cobras in Africa. At least not in Egypt. At least not in Egypt.
I can't believe that's the one thing you hung up on. Or it's like,
I was like, listen. They did it because like cobras are like there's like imagery of cobras and snakes with Egyptian like the pharaohs, but there are no cobras in Egypt. Like it's not native to Egypt. Like it's a very, very minor nitpick, but it did bug me. I get you. Like those are native to Egypt. The esp are like the main. That's the snake that bit Cleopatra. Like that's accurate. But I'm like, you're going for authenticity here. I'm just saying, like that snake was.
Are they going for authenticity? Are they though?
For the time period, are they not?
I guess so, but as you said, like there were some stuff that they took some deviations with, like where the location of the Ark of the Covenant and stuff like that.
Oh, I was joking about the Ark being in Ethiopia. I don't believe it's real. But
like you can still tell that they were taking certain liberties with it. So like that to just up the danger, like I didn't mind as much. I mean, I understand, since you love snakes, so that's another thing that I love Indy because I relate to him so much because I can't stand snakes either. They are
harmless.
I can't touch them. I can't pet them. Like, dude, there was one. I'm about to get into a tirade about elementary school, but there was one time where
I had a feeling this is tied to trauma as a youth.
Yes, this was traumatizing. There was one time where like there was this someone who brought in a pet snake for the kids to see, and man, it was a long yellow snake. I was terrified. I was
How big was
terrified.
I'm gonna be that guy. How big was it?
How big was it? It looked like it could. Okay, so I think the teacher was he looked like he was like 6 feet tall. It looked like the snake could wrap around him like 3 or 4 times.
It was probably then a yellow boa constrictor.
Yeah, I'm just like, and even when I was petting it, it felt so weird, and the fact that there's no emotion on the snake's eyes, it's so freaking creepy. It's so freaking weird.
What are you talking about? There's emotion. Snakes are cute.
Dude, it's like trying to justify with the Lion King remake. They actually have emotions. You just can't see them.
Simba watched as his father was trampled by 10,000 wildebeest. He was emotionally scarred that day. The young cub will now forever be raised by a warthog and a meerkat that sounds like he's Jewish.
Man, if they had that narration in the movie
Morgan Freeman narrating the Lion King film as a Nat Geo documentary is just, I would pay to see that.
A plus right there. But yeah, so I like that they going back to I did like that they didn't make Indy like a perfect character. That he did have his weaknesses. He did have his
And he has
situations.
screwed up
He has screwed up. Yep.
with what's her name? Rachel. What's the girl's name?
Oh,
Marion.
Miriam.
Mi- Mi-
Marion.
Miriam?
Marion.
Marion. Okay.
Marion.
Marion. Okay. Because it's hard for me like actually when I was listening back to it like I couldn't tell if they were saying Miriam, Marianne, or Marion. So I guess it's Marion. Okay. Marion, man, I keep forgetting like Marion is actually a really good female character. Like one of the better female characters I've seen in film. Like I'm surprised I don't talk about her like more often when we're talking about strong female characters. But I instantly liked, her introduction to the movie where she's doing that
Arm wrestling.
well, no, it was a drinking contest.
It was a drinking.
Oh, right, that's right.
competition.
That's right. It was a drinking contest, and she outdrank one of the guys.
Mm-hmm.
She outdrank this big fat guy.
Big fat dude.
Yeah,
like
because obviously big fat guys can hold more liquor than a big skinny guy. Anyway,
little 5'4" woman, but yeah, I like that they established that she's grizzled. She doesn't take shit from anybody, but she's still a very likable character.
That whole sequence with her was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I need your help. Come with me. No, Nazis. Guten Tag. Well, I guess I'm coming with you now because there's Nazis. And
Well,
they burned down my place.
Well, they burned down my place. They tried to kill me, so it's like, and Indy, you promised me money, so yeah, you're gonna get more help than you asked for.
Basically,
Yep.
the Nazis burned down my place. I'm gonna help you find this thing so I can get some money to rebuild my place.
Yep. And of course, there's some history between Marion and Indy. Like, why did you leave me? I was young. What? How dare you?
By the way, if this movie was made today, guess what? Guess what the main gripe would be?
That shit.
No, why? Oh, why wasn't that explored more? It doesn't need to be. Not everything needs to be deep and analyzed and explored. That's a nitpick I have for a lot of modern storytelling. The audience needs to be spoon-fed the history, even though just there's history. It's there. Just accept that and move on.
Right. Did y'all really want to see a flashback with Indy and Marion together when they were young, and then you wanted to see the falling out? Is that what you really wanted to see? No, I didn't. I don't.
Okay. In comparison, for a film like Indy, it would take the narrative and the plot and just take it in a whole different direction, and we would feel like we're wasting our time. But a film like Casablanca, where that happens, that's the main core part of the story. Like that, it's needed in that film. It's not needed here in Indy. Like, we don't need to see the relationship from back then. We just need to see it from where it's at now and where it goes forward. And unfortunately, it goes nowhere but down.
Unfortunately, because no one lives up to what Marion did in this movie. Not even her in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Well, what I was going to say is when your kid turns out to be Shia LaBeouf, you've just fucked up.
Okay, I'll actually defend Shia LaBeouf when we get there, but
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I will defend Shia LaBeouf in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I will join DL for that too.
Thank you, sir.
Wait, what?
No problem. Yeah, no problem.
Yes.
Y'all are just hating.
Yeah, y'all are.
I am just
hating.
Okay. Yeah, y'all are just hating.
Did he just come off of Transformers? Sure, but that doesn't justify as to why we should just hate him. And yes, he was in CGI background only. That doesn't hurt the character.
Yeah, honestly,
where does that hurt the character?
Yeah, it's and even with the Transformers movies, I had my criticisms with Shia LaBeouf in the later half of the films. So it's not
I remember.
Yeah, you guys, if you guys have seen it, you guys know. And I'm gonna be honest, because when he was younger, I used to be a really big Shia LaBeouf fan. I loved him. Goated. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Holes is still goated.
Oh yeah, Holes is a great movie. But so yeah, I do have a soft spot for Shia LaBeouf back in his early days. But even still, I didn't think he himself was bad. Was the writing around him could have been better? Absolutely. But I did not think it was Shia LaBeouf's fault at all. But moving on. Okay, so let us talk about. Well, talk more about this dude, this fucker right here, man. Like, bruh.
This dude cracks me up, bro.
Yeah, just
Honestly,
literally-
like he feels like he's supposed to be the villain, but he's always late wherever he goes.
he is. You know, like
he's like that like comic relief sort of like side villain that like works with the main villain to like accomplish their goal, I guess.
yeah.
Also-
he's like
also-
a henchman.
Also, real quick,
Super
because
glorified.
the main will we say that the main villain is that other archaeologist?
Belloc. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Balak.
yeah. I just want to quickly mention this because I didn't realize it was him until that scene was almost over. But at the beginning of the movie when he's in the temple with the giant ball and all that, did not realize that one of the guides was Alfred Molina.
Yep. Dr. Octopus himself.
Yes, yes,
And-
the people.
Like my cousins and I were talking about it, it's like I guess at the time they couldn't find an actual like native Spanish person to fill the role, so and Alfred Molina's kind of pan, so just do a Spanish accent, Alfred. You got this.
Yeah, that wouldn't go over very well today.
Oh no, it absolutely
Oh,
wouldn't. That's why
absolutely
that's why we're talking about it.
Yeah. I honestly, like, I wasn't thinking about it the entire time, but like, yeah,
It's such a quick blink and you'll miss it thing. But
Yeah.
then again, the internet literally gets mad over blink and you'll miss it things all the time. So
exactly. Like, they can't be like, oh, they made mistakes, but they could do better in the future. It's like, nope, if you messed up in the past, you're a bad person now, and you won't change.
it wasn't even that bad. Like it wasn't like he like laid on a thick accent. Like he was like saying like
Are you sure? Throw me the idol.
But like like it was a thick accent, but it wasn't like I didn't consider it like racist or anything. Like it's not like a racist stereotype. Like I didn't consider it like that.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
I-
it's
I-
not like that.
Well, I guess another thing to consider is that like he was playing a role that wasn't like he wasn't like the most like prominent character from that film. Like if you
That's
were
what
to
I'm
pick out
saying.
like any like major standouts, Alfred Molina's character was not one of them. Like he was only in there enough to like get the audience interested in what side they want to take in terms of like what Indy believes in. Like that was really what Alfred Molina's character was there for. And then they ended up killing him off. Which, by the way, did you guys know that that was actually his first role ever
Yes.
Really?
in anything? Yeah, that was his first role in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then we
What-
look at him today, where he's playing a Dr. Octopus and making people cry.
Yep. But we can't forget his iconic role as the villain in The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
I was gonna say
I
his
forget
his
that
cameo
movie
appearance
existed.
in Monk, but okay.
Good God. When was that movie? Like 2010. Good God.
Yep. The 2010s, a perfect era for
Nicolas
movies.
Cage, you're gonna be my apprentice. I'm gonna teach you magic. It's gonna be great.
Oh yeah, that was the one with Nick Cage.
I s-
Yeah, that
I
movie was
stole that.
destined to be bad.
I stole the Constitution. It was awesome.
I'm Nicolas Cage and I have two facial expressions. He
No.
just lifts his eyebrows.
DL, I'm gonna teach you magic. Not that magic over there. Don't look over there. That my skull got set on fire one time. It wasn't fun.
Oh, Ghost Rider. Jesus Christ.
Kind of went schizo for a minute there. It was kind of scary. Not gonna lie.
But what I will say, though, Nicolas Cage was really good as Dracula in Renfield. That's all.
Don't
I'll
you
say.
dare spoil that for me. I want to see that film. It
Okay.
looks so funny.
It
looks
is. It's
so
a funny movie. Yep. Yep.
I
That's
haven't
it.
heard much about it. Oh, I see the ratings. They're not looking
It's-
too high,
it's a
but I mean, like,
soft-
it's probably like enjoyable by audiences.
Is that made by Universal? DL?
Of course, it's Dracula.
I've heard that is the soft reboot for the MonsterVerse.
I don't know if I would start a universe with this
Or the
because-
dark universe. Well, like Dracula is it was Nick Cage. Nick Cage is Dracula in this dark universe, as it were. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it if they wanted to revamp the Dark Universe with this. I just don't know if making a horror comedy universe, a dark universe. I don't know if that's the approach that they want to do.
Mind you,
Because
that's just a rumor. That's just a rumor I heard. But anyway, like Yeah, I just wanted to mention that Alfred Molina was in it because it surprised me. I'm like, holy shit, is that Alfred Molina?
Yep.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, it definitely shocked me after seeing Spider-Man 2 and stuff like that. Like, oh, he's in Indy, and oh, he dies brutally.
Yeah.
He gets his just desserts. But
Mhm.
going back to let's talk about the Nazis.
Oh, what is there to say about the Nazis other than their
I will say, like, the premise. If there's one thing that is accurate in this movie, it is the Nazis' goal, because that is 100% historically accurate. Hitler believed in the occult. He wanted any advantage to make the German race superior and win the war, even if it was a bunch of bullshit, like the Ark. So I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That tracks up.
That makes sense. Yeah. How did you guys? So we kind of already talked about it, but as far as the artifact, how did you guys feel about like the Ark of the Covenant, how it was utilized?
I like the whole thing about the Ark is that there's this whole like mystery surrounding the Ark, and we really just want to know like what's inside. And I really like how they build up the suspense as to like they kind of keep us at the edge of our seats as to like, you know, what's actually inside the Ark, what makes this like so like important to us that we need to like stay like on this object. And then it by the time it's all paid off by the time we get to the end of the film, and when we see the Nazis win, that just goes to show that like, you know, you don't have to like you can't be super excited about everything, you know, because like, you know, be careful what you wish for, basically. That's what it says.
What's up, George? Make him come to the chat. Says he loves the original Indiana Jones film, so I guess he doesn't like Crystal Skull either.
But that means he likes Temple of Doom.
Yeah,
another Temple of Doom lover. Welcome, brother.
And you'll find a lot of Temple of Doom lovers out here, but
a lot of them.
I don't like the way that y'all implied that.
Oh, you'll find out exactly what I mean when we talk about Temple of Doom.
I don't like where this is going. This feels like I'm about to be led to a dark alley, and I'm gonna see something horrendous.
You better hope Big B comes in the next one to back you up. But anyway.
Oh God, does he like Temple of Doom?
I think he does like Temple of Doom, but we'll find out.
Unfortunate soul.
We'll find out.
It's a fun movie.
The last 30 minutes is
fun if you enjoy bad characters.
Ooh, actually, yeah.
Let's get back to this one.
You can't say crap. The characters were actual garbage.
Let's get back to this one.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to be nice to Spielberg's wife. Anyway, let us talk about Sala. I love Sala.
He's such a good guy. I'm so excited for him in Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah, I'm surprised they got him back, man. I'm so happy they're gonna bring him back.
And that's one of the interesting things about all the Indiana Jones films is that like they find like weird but interesting ways to bring back characters that we never expect them to bring back. Like in Crystal Skull, we never saw Marion coming back after her only appearing in the first film. Sala, we never expected to come back in the fifth film after being in Raiders and Last Crusade. Like really, that just goes to show like, you know, it's not really like Indiana Jones has like a story to follow where like you have to like connect pieces. It's more of like a timeline. It's kind of plays off as like a period piece. So like Indy could be appearing in any of these locations really at any time. And that's just what's so great about these films, and I'm so glad he's coming back for Indiana Jones 5. I loved him in Raiders.
Dial is set during the 60s or 70s, right? Or is it set during the 80s?
Oh, I think
when was Crystal Skull?
Crystal Skull was like
Skull was 56.
Yeah, 50s. So I would say this was either 60s or 70s.
I want to say 70s or 80s, maybe 70s.
Well, because like if he was in his 60s in Crystal Skull, he would have to be like in his 70s or 80s in Dial of Destiny.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason I knew, again, like, it's very obvious that Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is set during like the 50s because the atomic bomb testing, and also the Russians are the bad guys.
Yep. That's a one question I wanted to ask you guys, because this seems to be a point of contention as far as like enemies for Indiana Jones. Do you believe that Nazis should be the enemy of Indiana Jones in every movie, or do you think they should like try to freshen things up and have different type of antagonists?
I mean,
they could do whatever they want. I feel like if they do end up going for Nazis, I would understand it, because it kind of feels like the Nazis would be like the main enemy for Indy, but it doesn't hurt to kind of shake things up a little bit. Like, I appreciated what they did with like the Russians and Crystal Skull, so like you could play around with it however you want. I guess I'm indifferent about it.
To me, it's all again, like they're trying to say, oh, this takes place, like, again, Raiders takes place in the 30s. Apparently, Temple of Doom takes place in the 20s. But either way, like like Ruby said, it's all a timeline. Like it's like our actual timeline of history. So 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. So by the time of Crystal Skull, the Nazis are gone.
Yeah.
As far, like, let me say that differently.
Well, until Dial of Destiny.
No. The German Nazis are gone.
Oh, okay, yeah.
By the
yeah,
50s,
yeah.
I'll put it that way. So during that time, the Cold War was a thing, and the Russians were the big bad. And I do believe Stalin, being the crazy son of a bitch that he was, would have absolutely wanted these Crystal Skulls that could. I honestly have forgotten the plot for that film, but I forgot what the Crystal Skulls do. But they fulfill a wish. It's like a genie's lamp.
No, they're supposed to give like unlimited knowledge to someone about the universe.
Oh, George says he doesn't dislike Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, by the way. He does enjoy some parts of it, but he's not a fan.
There's a joke there for me to make about Stalin getting that knowledge to find out. Anyway, that's a very political joke. I'm not going to make that here. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
But I do think that, like, is it confirmed that the Nazis are the enemies for Dial of Destiny?
Oh yeah. Yeah. What's his name? Mads Mikkelsen. Is one of the head Nazis.
Matt Mikkelsen, you mean?
Please don't mess him up for a third damn time. I swear to God, y'all be wasting this actor hardcore.
Matt Mikkelsen.
Yeah,
I'm assuming
absolutely.
you're talking about him being in Doctor Strange, and then in the Harry Potter franchise, and now this.
Oh God, yeah. So 4 times then, because Doctor Strange, Fantastic Beasts, and well, actually, I think it was okay in Fantastic Beasts, but Rogue One too. I was just like,
Rogue One.
Yeah,
Jesus
Rogue One.
Christ.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Why did you massacre my boy?
He
Why
was
you
so
do this?
he was so great in Casino Royale. Like
though.
Man.
I think we hit a nerve for Ruby.
I mean, I don't blame him.
I'm just playing.
I don't blame him. Mads Mikkelsen is such a great actor, and it's just like they don't know what to do with him in half of these movies.
I've heard I've heard rumors that the Dial of Destiny has something to do with time travel or something. If that's the case, it makes sense for the Nazis to be the bad guys, I guess. But again, the German Nazis, 1930s to 1940s. That's their time frame. That's the time frame you got. After that, they were a small pocket, if anything, in Germany. So I just don't know if they actually have the balls to be like, yeah, no, these are actual like American Nazis. I'm like, oh, okay, please do continue.
This is a dumb question. Please don't take it seriously, people in the chat and people are watching. I'm not kidding about. I'm not serious about this.
You heard him. He's not kidding.
No. I'm not serious about this. Like what I'm about to ask. I'm joking. I'm just seeing how they react to it. Do you want the Indiana Jones to fight the KKK?
Yes.
I certainly do.
Actually, that'd be interesting. It'd be more funny.
The KKK never really have grand ambitions like that. It's just the same tired shtick. Like it's like, honestly, like that's the thing. Like the German Nazis, like again, the Third Reich had like big ambitious goals. The KKK is just like, yeah, just don't walk near me.
I mean, here's
like,
what I'm thinking though. Like, what if they gave an over the top like over the top like thing with the KKK, like they're trying to do something. I mean, like I said, I'm joking about this. I don't think they should actually do this. I don't think it will go well. But like, I'm just thinking, what if they did like an over the top plot like for the KKK? Like, they're
honestly,
trying
the
to,
people that they are offending, I'm sorry, stay mad.
I was gonna say, if you're somehow a supporter of KKK, that this is a fuck you and a middle finger to the face.
yeah.
So you know what? Do it.
Exactly. Yeah, for
Do
those
it.
of you who are watching that just so happen to be KKK members, I don't know why you guys are watching because I'm black. So fuck you and your mom's a whore.
Hey, now, did
Tell
you
'em.
not learn anything from Dave Chappelle?
Yeah, and that man's a legend. But anyway,
But
and canceled. Anyway, let's move on.
anyway, but like I will say that if they are the villain for this final film, it does kind of feel like a full circle feeling. I just don't know how they're going to work it with the story, because again, time frame was 1930s to 1940s, or to mid, like 1945 is actually like mid 1940s, so the start of mid 1940s. So that's your time frame for Nazi stuff, German Nazi stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm all for Indy doing new enemies. It doesn't always have to be the Nazis. Is the Nazis the biggest villains that Indy has faced? Absolutely, but I do think you should shake things up sometimes. You know,
It's the biggest villain we all face.
Yeah, that's very true. Yes, but yeah, I'm okay with them doing different type of stuff with it. Like, I'm not all like, he has to fight Nazis all the time. Okay, then why weren't you guys complaining about Temple of Doom? That's what I thought.
Here's the thing.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, I was waiting for you to say something. Like,
Oh,
here's
no,
the
I was
thing.
joking. That was
Okay.
entire.
That's like, you can explain yourself in the next one. But anyway, let's actually talk about some of the like the iconic set pieces in this movie, like that fight scene in the village, with a bunch of minions with the sword. There's of course the iconic scene where Indy is being confronted by this
gun.
He pulls out the gun because it's this
Just
really
bang.
big dude with a giant sword, and he's just like, nah, fuck this, I'm shooting you. You're dead.
I heard that like the actual like reason that happens is because like George actually wanted him to do like a giant sword fight with the guy, but Harrison just didn't want to do this. He was like, why don't I just shoot him?
Well,
guy.
no, it was actually because on set, like the day that they were shooting that, Harrison Ford actually had like the stomach flu,
Oh,
so
that
he
was
couldn't really do it. Like even if he wanted to do it, he couldn't do it, and so that's why he just looks all like sweaty and like worn out actually, like in the shot. So
He
he's
does.
just like, okay, I'm just bang, and just call it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it works so because even though there was a real reason why it happened like that, the comedy of it is just
Don't
it's
bring a
so
sword to a gunfight. That's the joke.
Yep. And it's like you wouldn't expect something like that from like a main action star, because normally, you know, they would get into a big fight scene with the big guy most of the time. So it was very unexpected at the time that he would think of something as smart as that, as being like, you know what, I have a gun right here, I could just kill him. you know,
it was
so
just
like you don't
such a
usually.
well appreciated scene, because like most people would want to see like, yeah, we want to see like an actual sword fight because we want to see haha Indy with a sword, lol. But it's just like a way of just showing like you don't need sword fights to like, you know, like in every single movie when it's like
yeah.
unnecessary. That's a
Exactly.
Star Wars thing.
right. Yeah, thinking.
This-
Thinking.
Star Wars.
Yes, yep, Star Wars. Yeah, it's like thinking smart, not hard. But anyway, so we have that, and
I'm sorry, I just thought of the Dave Chappelle someone coming at me with a sword, bang! Modern problems require modern solutions. Like,
facts. Of course, like the opening scene, we already talked about it earlier with them going to the cave and like trying to get the artifact, and then like that,
the natives chasing him.
the natives chasing him and stuff like that. So one little nitpicking thing, I didn't think that bag of sand that he used to replace where the artifact is. Did he really think that was gonna work?
Well, actually, did like it's one of like he couldn't tell how heavy the statue was because, like, you know,
it was all based on theory. That was his theory.
Yeah.
Theory. And so I'm gonna pull out a little bit of sand already since I don't know how heavy it is.
That's what I
Sand
love.
Is hefty though.
It is. Have you ever tried to lift?
Have you ever held like that bag of sand, like that sized bag of sand? It's not a piece of paper.
Yeah, I have to lift bags of sand sometimes at work, so I understand. But
Sounds like loader problems.
Based on like he probably looked at it as like based on like the size and how the artifact like actually looks. He probably based the weight of it just looking at it in terms of size.
Well, one of the things I love is this small attention to detail is he starts emptying the bag of sand like bit by bit to try to match. He's like, this is probably too much. This is still too much. This feels about right. Like that's a small attention to detail that,
and it was still too much.
Yeah, it was still too much.
Really?
But it's one of those things like I appreciate that because it's like that's something that like it feels more real because of those small things. Like he's like actually doing math in his head. Like it's probably too heavy. This will do it. I was wrong.
Yeah.
It just shows like how much like it just goes to show the kind of mentality that Indy had in that moment. So I really understood. I really appreciated that sand in the bag moment.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then of course the giant ball that gets
iconic.
The big boulder.
The big boulder. Why did I call it a giant ball? Big boulder.
It's like a big boulder ball.
Big boulder ball. But yeah, that a very iconic scene. Like that was the one thing I was waiting to see after seeing that in the Stunt Spectacular. I was like that.
Yeah.
Like, wow, he's getting chased by a giant boulder. Is that actually in the movie? And it actually is.
And that scene has been parodied to death.
Oh, it absolutely has.
That's honestly one of those scenes where it's like, you know how there's that saying of like, you know, once you see that like one scene in a movie, you could just like stop watching the rest of the movie because you were at least able to see that one scene. That's the boulder scene in this movie. Like,
which is crazy because that's still the intro to the movie.
Yeah, that's the thing though, is that like it's the very like first scene of the movie. So like you have to sit through like the rest of the film to actually like understand all of it afterwards.
It's like, okay, I've seen the scene. Wait, you're telling me it gets better than this?
Yeah, that entire opening scene set the tone for the rest of the movie. Like it was great. It was brilliant. Like Lucas and Spielberg knew what people wanted to see, so they didn't waste time giving it to you. You know,
what's kind of I'm only bringing this up because I just thought of this. It's like what's kind of ironic is that like again these films are an homage to the films of the time with the practical effects and it being campy and serialized and all that stuff. And when again only mentioning this because of I just noticed it. That was one of the main reasons why Lucas hated the sequels. Was because it relied on what he did for the original trilogy. But so I'm like, wait a minute. So it's fine when you do it, but when someone else does it, like those films have other problems. But like the practical effects were actually one of the things that people loved about those movies.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You got it.
I would say notice how when Lucas gets more involved with the Indiana Jones movies, those are the ones that seem to be more polarizing to the audience. Just saying.
You're not wrong.
Wait, like, so was Lucas involved with Crystal Skull?
Yes.
Yeah. He was. He came up with.
Why else do you see the aliens?
I legitimately, because I thought History Channel paid for a lot of that movie's production.
Yeah, like there's
that would be funny.
Like
aliens.
Which this is probably something we can get to when we talk about Crystal Skull. But like Spielberg and like I think other writers had like an original pitch for Indy 4, and which they were all happy with. But then George Lucas came in and was like, "No, I don't like it. No,
it's not good. Where's the aliens?
I'm gonna do my own thing.
Skulls, no aliens." Wait, when did Crystal Skull come out again? 2008.
2008.
2 years after the Star Wars prequel trilogy ended.
Well, 3 years, but
no, 3 years. Excuse me, 3 years. 3 years.
Yeah, I know. It just too much of a coincidence.
And then he did Red Tails, and oh my god, Lucas just did not have a good.
Who?
Exactly.
You're trying to do the Snoop Dogg thing.
Does anybody know any Lucasfilm properties outside of Star Wars and Indiana Jones? Do people really even care
American Graffiti?
Nope, that's Francis
Like,
Coppola.
That was like one movie.
I
And
can
then
tell you,
the sequel, we don't talk about it.
well, if Lucas was involved, like I told Dialdo that American Graffiti was Francis Coppola.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a shame when Lucas is trying to dabble outside of Star Wars and Indiana Jones, it doesn't.
What are you talking about? Strange Magic was such a good telling of A Midsummer
Oh,
Night's Dream. I don't know what you're.
Oh man, I like Big B famously says, I blocked that from my memory. I blocked that shit.
I'm
from my
so glad I
memory.
could bring it back to the forefront of your brain, DL. Thank you. Now you get to share in my pain.
Oh, brother.
It never leaves.
But another set piece I thought was great. Of course, the fight scene with Indy and the muscle guy around that plane. Like,
Favorite piece.
That was such an incredible piece.
What's funny is that you mentioned earlier with the sword fights, like we expected him to have a fight with the big, he did have that fight with the big German. It's just that it wasn't the sword German, it was the fist German.
yeah, we still got to fight with the muscle guy, but like,
And ironically, his life was ended with a blade.
That was brutal too.
I
When
loved it. I was
rewatching
like,
it.
yes.
It was very satisfying at the same time. But like, what I really like about that sequence is that there's so much going on in that scene. Not just Indy fighting the muscle guy. It's busy, but you don't feel lost. It doesn't feel like chaotic. You're able to follow everything that's going on.
Rising action, like it's, I forgot her name. I almost
Marion.
called her Marilyn. Marion is she's trying to get into the cockpit or the gun, to do something with the plane. Indy's fighting. I'm just gonna call him Hans for the sake of because he looks like a Hans. So Indy's fighting Hans, and it like you have the one German trying to shoot him from the top. You have him trying to dodge the fist, and then the gas tank explodes. It's like what the
like all this shit happening, and I could tell when they're going through this, they can only get one take of this. They can't do more than one take. They have to make sure everything goes perfectly, because if one thing goes wrong, someone could get seriously injured or killed.
Yeah, I am willing to bet that the entire sequence had to have been done in one take.
Yep.
The reason I love it so much is like, gosh, they're trying to be stealthy. They're doing it right. This is exactly like my stealth playthroughs. This is exactly how it is for me.
What stealth?
Like that scene from Bad Company 2. It's like, is this a stealth operation? Why?
Like, why?
Like why? No, let's go in fists swinging, guns blazing, and explosions. Also, I will say, what did you think of the scene with Marion and forgot the name of the villain?
Belloc
with them in the tent with the alcohol.
That was a silly scene. I was expecting Belloc to get hung over and get knocked out, and then she would escape. But nope, that didn't happen. That didn't happen because that other Nazi guy was just waiting for her and be like, "You stupid American."
I guess what I was a little confused about. This is kind of a little nitpick of mine as well. But does Belloc even like the guy in the black hat and the glasses, the goofy looking guy?
It starts off as just a lucrative business thing, but then he like starts to realize, oh, like I picked the wrong side. At least that's how I took it. By a certain point, like well, actually no, like it's more like he just wanted the girl, but they were like, 9, she dies, and he's like, well, I have less reason now to work with you.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, okay. It's okay. It's really strange because like Belloc decided to put Marion in this dress for some reason. Like what is
I
up?
was like I was just like, please don't like even tease the R word. Please don't. Like you have alcohol, you have a skimpy outfit. Like please don't. Like good Lord, I know we're supposed to be imitating the 40s here, but there's a limit. All right, there's a limit to how much I can take with authenticity.
I did not need a grape scene in Indiana Jones. That did not need that.
Are so big that wait, what?
I'm just because like YouTube is sensitive with certain words, so like that's why I say saying grape. But apparently you can't say
Yeah, I didn't want any grapes squished and turned into juice.
exactly. And also apparently you can't say self-delete squad. So for some reason you can't say you can't say the apparently you got to be careful with saying the S word. Like you can't just keep saying the S word anymore because they're sensitive. So I gotta say self-delete squad.
You're like Deadpool in Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah, we're gonna unalive them.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, gotta be careful with saying that word. So
yeah, I can't really use the K word. It's kind of a sensitive issue, so we're just gonna unalive them. like what?
I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that doesn't happen. You can't say the K word. But
because I'm sorry to tell you this, a lot of fictional stuff. There's that K word, that pesky K word keeps popping up.
Mm-hmm. Or you can't say corn too much without
You mean prom?
Prawn, yes. But yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff. YouTube is weird sometimes.
YouTube is ironically very authoritative when it comes to the words you can say and can't say. In fact, I think we should have been saying the Ezons instead of the other word too, because But it's too late now. We've already crossed that bridge. There's no going back. That bridge was blown up.
Yeah, I'm not monetized yet anyway, so it's whatever.
YouTube, great platform.
Excellent. Trying to make money, man. But okay. So the one other sequence I want to talk about is the chase with the trucks. Man,
Really well done.
Very well done. That entire sequence is the reason why you can't do stunts like this anymore. Because that's probably one of the most dangerous car stunts I have ever seen in a film.
Unless you're Tom Cruise.
Unless you're Tom Cruise, of course.
Because he's gonna have his way no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. But man, the stuff they were doing in that truck chase, you had people climbing on top of trucks while they're moving. You have them trying to crash into the car while it's driving. They're fighting inside the car.
Honestly,
they get punched outside of the car, in front of the car, hanging on for dear life, going in the undercarriage, trying to hang on for dear life under the carriage, and going behind the truck, trying to climb on top of it. Like, dude,
I'm gonna say this, I say this unironically. Looking at that, I literally was like, this feels like a chase or action sequence from an Uncharted game.
This is the inspiration for Uncharted.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like it, and I'm like, that's because I'm like, wow, this is like, I love those types of action scenes in Uncharted. So I'm like, this is fantastic.
Absolutely great. Absolutely great. Man.
Never replicated after that because like, yeah, we kind of lost some guys. We thought there was this, even though the tires are rubber, they still ended up with pretty bad injuries.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I know, like people are upset, like with Crystal Skull and what we're seeing from Dial of Destiny. It's like, why are they using CGI? There shouldn't be CGI in an Indiana Jones movie. What you guys really have to understand is that those stunts that they were doing back in the day, they did those because that's the only way they were able to do the stuff they wanted to. They didn't want people to actually get hurt doing that stuff. So it's like nowadays they're trying their best to protect the actors because they don't want an incident where someone gets brutally injured or killed. Yes, like they don't want any lawsuits going on. So it's like I'm sorry. I know people they see the Mission Impossible movies and be like, do that. Even Mission Impossible uses special effects. Even they use that.
What? You're telling me those two helicopters didn't actually crash IRL? I'm just saying random.
If you were from the 80s.
Honestly, if there actually is a helicopter crash in any of those movies, I would actually laugh. I've never seen them, so
wow. You have to
I'm
bring
not a
you up.
Tom Cruise fan. All right.
Look, I don't care what you haters gotta say. Tom Cruise is one of the greatest movie stars
He
ever.
is one of the most impressive movie stars of our time.
Yeah, man.
Nut-
Like when he's gone, like Hollywood will not be the same. It won't. Like you can
At
say
least
what you,
at least in the action department.
at least in the
What if
action
this-
department, exactly. He's one of the last people doing the stuff that he's doing. We don't like. We should cherish this man, bruh. We need to cherish him.
I will do no such thing. But you go ahead. I will not stop.
He's
you.
been doing actually a lot better actually in his older ages as opposed to his 80s, like in the 80s.
Yeah.
He's got a lot better in his, it's up in his 80s. When he was in his 80s, he was just crazy party boy.
And he's not that old yet. He's not that old yet.
But he's getting there. But I'm just saying that one of his favorite treats is Nutter Butters. But I get what you're saying though. It's just again but going back to what you were talking to DL, like yeah, the technology just wasn't there for what they wanted to do, and sometimes it's like for James Cameron, for instance. James Cameron's a perfect example of this. He waited for the technology to meet his vision for Avatar. Whether you like the film or not, that's why he waited, was for the technology to catch up to what he wanted to do. Spielberg and Lucas were like, yeah, we don't have that time. Like this needs we want this to be made now. We want to make this now. So we're going to do what we can and do what we have to make this film right now. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's just one of those things. And again, with even besides the Alfred Molina scene, like I feel like if Raiders was made today, it would be for some reason divisive. Like one reason or another, it would be divisive, and it would be as cherished as it is right now. So,
For one thing that they would get right, it would be released as PG-13.
Yeah. At least they'll get the rating right, and they won't trick the families, the stupid families that won't do research for themselves before taking kids to see movies. Man, I gotta tell you something real quick. Man,
he better go off. I know that tone.
I'm about to go off. Parents, don't be irresponsible. Get a babysitter. Do research on movies before you go take your kids.
Comic book movies, DL. My kid loves comic book movies. Joker is made for him.
Y'all are dumb.
I actually, when I went to see Joker, saw kids with their parents in Joker. I'm like, you are going to traumatize these children.
Yeah, like seriously, like what is wrong with you?
Yeah, for all the people that decided it was a good idea to take their kids to see Joker and shit like that, y'all are idiots.
Seriously, I like the casual movie
the next
audience.
generation of school shooters.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
That's probably the edgiest thing I've said tonight, but it's the truth.
Promoting school deleters, but
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't do PC talk. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm kidding with you. I don't care.
Unalive.
Unalive, but man.
Even something like indie though, like. This is another thing because it came out in '81. This is something we have not said yet, so I'm gonna say it. '80s films have a very special magic of scarring a generation.
Yes,
and this movie is one of those that is one of the key ones that scarred a generation. The melting face scene scarred Gen Xers when they saw this film in theaters for the first time. And so, yeah, I think that just needs to be said. Like, it's another one of those classic 80s films that just has a psychological scar angle to it.
Yep, like it make you feel a bit tougher after watching movies like this. I was gonna say is that I recently saw Evil Dead Rise, and someone actually brought their kid.
Groovy.
Are you serious?
Groovy.
Yeah. Yep, it was a little kid too.
Groovy.
Yeah. Y'all are bad parents. I just gotta tell you that.
Are you not going to acknowledge me? I did the thing.
Oh, cool, Meta. You did the thing. You said groovy.
Thank you.
Good job, man.
Thank you.
He got the reference, everybody.
Thank you. That's all I asked for. I don't ask for much in this life, just acknowledgement.
Okay. All right. But anyway, what else is there to mention about this movie? I
mean, some may say now, because honestly, with attention spans, I actually think that some people would say this film kind of drags on.
Honestly, I kind of
except-
disagree.
Except it
No,
doesn't because it's under 2 hours.
I am
It
not
is.
saying this, mind. I am not saying this, mind you. I do not think it drags, but how it goes from like one place to another, it's kind of a MacGuffin. Also, let's be real.
It is a MacGuffin.
It's a MacGuffin movie, yes.
It's a MacGuffin movie, and there's. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to like. I'm trying to be in the mindset of someone that's younger that would see this. Now, again, not every young person is going to have that mindset. There are a lot of young people that love the older stuff and appreciate and understand what they were trying to do. But there are those people that
Those
this
Gen
is-
Z casuals.
this is so long and boring. What is? And I'm like, what are you expecting from this? Like,
First of all, like, look, I understand that there's moviegoers that have the attention span of a squirrel, but like, I can't understand you watching this movie and being bored because there's not a slow moment in this movie. Everything goes bam, bam, bam,
I
bam,
mean,
bam.
there is some slow moments, but they're needed to like get the audience to calm back down and follow the plot when they're figuring out, like, for example, when they're figuring, like, when Indy's figuring out the puzzle in the tomb,
Yeah.
with the staff. Like, that's a somewhat slow moment, but it's needed to break up all the action because there's so much action. You need those slow moments so that the audience again can catch their breath, calm back down, and then they get immediately revved back up. It's a break. It's a stop point. Basically, it's a rest point. Basically.
Yes, you need rest points in movies, absolutely. Because, like, yeah, there is so much action in this movie. You do need some downtime to not only progress the plot with some exposition and like set up for other things, but yeah, it's just like I don't understand people would just saying it's a slow movie. It's really not.
And again, I am just, there are those people that will probably. I have not met a single soul that has said that, mind you. I am just saying there are more than likely those people.
Oh, I'm
that
sure there's
will
people
say
out there.
If you want, I can look them up.
I'm sure. I mean, I hear some casuals that say like, no matter what the movie is, if a movie's over an hour and a half, they'll go to sleep. Which is like,
Oh my god.
like,
well,
yeah,
no, it's more so like if the movie's over an hour and a half, they'll ask who's the next Disney princess.
I mean, because I'm honestly I'm referencing my mother when I say that, because like there's certain movies where it's like it doesn't matter how engaging or what stuff's going on in the film. If a movie's over like an hour and a half, she would go to sleep.
That's like the complete opposite. That's like the complete opposite of like on the note. That's like through the note. That's like on the back of the skull. It's like the complete opposite of on the nose of what we're referring to. That's not. This is the complete opposite.
Yeah, I mean, even though she was awake. Okay, here's what's the strange thing about it though. She was wide awake for both Avatar movies. Let that sink in, people.
Wait, so she was awake for both of those films?
She hates practical effects.
And even Black Panther, which is the movie that she loved, she fell asleep in both of those movies too.
Okay.
Holy damn! This film won 5 Oscars.
This is why Avatar is. That's why Avatar is one of the biggest films of all time, because it appeals to so many people that you don't think they appeals to. I have a coworker that doesn't like science fiction, that doesn't even like just she doesn't watch regular movies that much. She watches documentaries, and we went to see Avatar, and she loved it. So I'm just like,
Probably
Avatar
because she
has
saw
magic.
something different
maybe
other than documentaries.
She's never seen a Spider-Man movie, but she loved Avatar.
Fucking weirdo. Sorry, I'm just saying. Like, what?
I'm sorry I'm putting you on the spot. If you're watching this, you know who you are. I'm sorry. I love you. But
At least
anyway,
we're not saying your name.
yeah, I'm not saying your name. But but yeah, anyway, we got to a
You will
tirade
remain
about-
a mystery.
we remain a mystery. But anyway, this
Wait,
is
so just to make sure I understand,
Hmm?
the fuck? Hold on, I'm sorry, I got ADHD kicked in. I saw some shit that confused the hell out of me. Hold on,
Oh man.
Okay.
that's actually funny. So I've honestly been trying to find on Twitter like terrible takes of Indiana Jones, The Raiders of the Lost Ark, because it's actually, with how vast the internet is, you could probably find some, right? Not
Okay.
finding a single one, so that's actually a good thing.
So for most people, they agree that this movie's a really good.
And then I also
they
found
should.
out that in some cities, it's going to be back in theaters again.
Oh, sweet.
for one
Sweet.
night only.
Oh, dang.
I mean, road trip.
Yeah.
Depending on where it's at, sure. Again, as I also saw in here, like this film won 5 Oscars.
As it should.
Yeah, rightly so, and it definitely won in practical effects.
Absolutely. It would be great to see the original 3 in theaters. You know, that'd be pretty cool to see.
Honestly, wouldn't
I
mind if
bet
they
that
did
they're
like a
gonna
marathon.
do like a marathon or something leading up to Dial of Destiny, aren't they?
I'm pretty sure they will. I don't know if it'll, I don't know if it'll happen
like,
everywhere.
I'm seeing it like these different like places like Evo Cinemas. I don't know where that is, but it's like before you see the new
Evo
adventure this summer,
Cinemas?
relive the excitement with Raiders for April 30th and Wednesday, May 3rd. But I don't know like where this is.
Yeah, well, like Ruby and I live in Michigan. We don't know what that is.
The fuck? We know
would just-
Imagine
Yeah, I imagine. And AMC, obviously.
and like AMC,
and MJR.
5 Oscars.
MJR.
Here, with the 5 Oscar wins, Raiders of the Lost Ark was the most Oscar-winning film of the year. It was nominated for 9 Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Director, and won 5.
Hell
um,
yeah!
Woo!
I don't think it won Best Picture though.
No, it definitely did not.
But the fact that he was even nominated is actually crazy for Best Picture. But let me
Oscars are so biased towards genre films. It's just it's crazy.
and it hasn't changed all these years. Let me
really.
check something. Let me put Raiders in. I'm just gonna put Raiders of the Lost Ark and then put theaters. There we go.
Oh, so Raiders was for Best Picture. It was competing against Reds on Golden Pond, Atlantic City, and the winner, Chariots of Fire.
I never heard of any of them.
I never heard any of them either.
Yeah, so like near me, there's oh, that's not as far of a drive actually. I could do that, but I am off that day too. I could actually go see Raiders in theaters. But the other one is like in the next state. So I guess just look up like if you have a showing in your area, because that could actually be a fun little romp to the theater. And I would say that this film is a film that you would want to see on the big screen.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I don't know, bro. We got Return of the Jedi so far.
Yeah.
Wait, is that shit out yet? I want to see that.
It's been out since like Friday. It's probably going to be out for maybe like the next week or so.
Oh, I want to see that in theaters.
Yeah.
I'm probably one of the only people on the earth that wanted to see Phantom Menace when it came back to theaters, because I saw that film when I was 3 and it's just a memory for me, but I missed it. So
Honestly, I wish I did too, because I saw Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith in theaters, so it would have been cool to see Phantom
Revenge
Menace
of the
in
Sith
theaters.
was my first.
Yep.
coming in right at the end there, huh, Ruby?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not that old.
No. I know.
I'm like
Talking
late
about-
90s.
I mean,
I
talking
saw
about
Revenge
like,
of the Sith as a 7-year-old.
I mean, yeah, it like for certain people that like I started with Star Wars with the original trilogy. Original trilogy with with no special edition, blah blah blah, whatever. I started with the Phantom Menace. That was my first exposure to Star Wars. So
And
it's fine.
my first is yeah, and you're right, DL. That is fine. You know what else is fine? Your first exposure to Indiana Jones being Temple of Doom. Listen, folks, there's one thing we've learned here tonight is that everyone has experiences.
Yeah, everyone has experiences for sure.
Go
I
through
mean,
their
that's-
own things in life, their own journey, and sometimes we shouldn't judge those with what they with how
I
they
mean,
To be
experience media.
fair, Temple of Doom is the first of the indie films in terms of the timeline.
technically, yeah.
It
Technically.
technically, what it is, it's a pre-sequel.
What the heck?
Yeah.
It's a pre-sequel, just like Borderlands, the pre-sequel. It's a pre-sequel, folks.
Sure. All right, before we start closing
Whatever.
things out, I do want to talk about some nitpicks that I do have as far from a filmmaking standpoint, and I'm not going to go too hard on it because, as I said, I understand that Lucas and Spielberg didn't have a huge budget for this, and they had to
Sure.
work with what they had. But there's just certain things as far as from an editing standpoint that wasn't quite as smooth. There'll be like certain transitions here and there that feels a bit jarring. Like I'm trying to remember. There's a well, as you said, like you could tell like there's certain shots that were stitched together that didn't feel as natural. Like for example, we talked about earlier with Harrison Ford getting sick on set and him shooting the gun. Like you kind of when they went from Indy like running whatever and stopping
yeah,
and
I
then
know.
transitioning, like you could tell, okay, something is a little off there. Or there'll be like certain scenes that just abruptly end. Like it didn't like there's not like certain there's like be certain events that happen where it's like it doesn't smoothly transition into the next scene. It just abruptly stops. And then like the actual ending is a bit rushed. It's a little bit rushed. So they're like, oh, the Ark of the Covenant is going in Area 51, and that's it.
Oh, well, I was
man.
thinking of the transition of going from Indy and Marion on the boat to Marion getting captured,
Yeah, that was
and
rough.
then we're randomly on this like other location to try and retrieve the Ark again.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's an example too. Trying to think what else. Well, as we said, there's a certain camp factor that there's a certain scenes that do feel a bit wacky, I guess. But I think that's part of its charm. Like there'll be certain over the top performances from the Nazis, especially that one dude with the black hat or whatever. There's like certainly some over the top moments that he has, like when he got burned by the medallion, whatever, and he's just this over expression on his face, like, "Aah!" Like literally from a cartoon. I'm just like, okay, dude, that's not how you.
I think that's the moment where like I laughed so hard I had an out of body experience. Like
It was so funny because like it's funny because we just want to see him lose, and he fits the bill of just being that
he's a
comedic character, and
He's-
it really just shined in that moment.
Who is that actor that was in the Princess Bride that you know the one I'm talking about, the Inconceivable?
Yeah, that
guy. I want to say is that the same voice actor for? Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say that's the same voice actor for Mike Wazowski.
Oh, that's Billy Crystal.
Oh,
Miracle Max.
Is that his name?
That's his name in Princess Bride, but
Billy
the
Crystal.
actor's
It
name
is
is
Billy
Billy
Crystal.
Crystal.
it is Billy Crystal.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Billy.
Yeah.
But that's not who I'm talking about. Who I'm talking about is Damn it, where is he? He literally plays.
Wallace Shawn.
Is that him?
And that's the actor's name for Vizzini.
Yeah, he reminds me of him. Wallace, that character reminded me of like a character. It's that same like goofy over the topness, if you know what I'm getting at. Like,
Yeah.
Or okay. Now the scene I'm thinking of, that I thought that was very jarring how they stitched that together. So remember when Indy and Marion are going on that boat, and Indy's really injured, and like he's just trying to lay down, and then Marion is looking in the mirror, and like she flips the mirror over and accidentally hits Indy on the jaw, and then Indy goes like, "Ah!" And then the next scene he's just like, I'm just like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah.
that's supposed to be comedy.
Oh, okay, but I'm just like, it was weird.
It was kind of an odd moment as like a comedic moment.
Yeah, so it was just weird like that, like when after the and then you just see him just rubbing his.
It's almost like it was too abrupt.
It was very abrupt because it's just like, okay. So I'm sorry, I'm not like the biggest expert on the physics, but like if Miriam hit Indy up on the jaw with the mirror, wouldn't that knock him out, or wouldn't
Well, it
that
depends on
like,
the amount of centrifugal force that the mirror landed onto his jaw. See, if I'm going to pull out my chart now, I'm going to show you mathematically why.
And then what was also weird was that Marion was like, "What's wrong? Everything okay?" What do you mean? You just hit him with the mirror. What do you mean?
She
what's
was being
wrong?
an ass, and I loved it. I love that. She's like, "Oh, what's the matter? Can't talk back."
And then he
Yeah.
did, but then she feels bad for him, and then she tends to his wounds, and then she kissed him to
Aw.
sleep. She kissed him to sleep.
Honestly, that I just thought of a very bad pun she could have used. She could have looked at him and said, "You know, with all your tough exterior, I didn't realize you had a glass jaw."
Damn.
That's a 21st century ass line right there.
That certainly is.
That is an MCU ass line.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that in this period piece. Thank you very much.
In this period piece. I hate to break it to you, but Captain America is also a period piece from the 40s, and it's fantastic.
I mean, yeah, I like First
So
Avenger.
yeah, some of that MCU dorkiness works. I'm sorry, it does.
I guess, but just not
But
everywhere.
I was saying it's something she could have said, but honestly, like, what was really funny about that scene was like, again, yeah, she like sleeps with him, and I'm like, wait,
like
why?
Lily sleeps with him because she kissed him to sleep.
Sure, that's what happened.
Or
Wait, what do
maybe
you
there was
like?
just nowhere else to sleep.
That's a big ass boat for there to be nowhere else to sleep.
Well, maybe she just didn't want to walk. You know how lazy she is.
Oh damn!
Dang! Shots fired.
I'm just
Where's
saying.
You're just saying?
I'm just saying.
I can see the arms up. Like, I'm just saying. I can see the arms. Like, I'm just saying.
Wow.
Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just here.
Wow. So I guess it's not really a contest. Like, she's the best like female protagonist of the Indiana Jones movies. Does anyone attest to that?
No.
I do.
If you say Willie, you are banned from this podcast.
Honestly, I don't know their names. I was just gonna say the one.
Oh,
from
they're
Last
so
Crusade.
memorable that you don't.
Oh,
know
Last Crusade actually had some okay ones, but not as good
Yeah,
as Marion.
Yeah, the twist one though, I was like, oh, that's again. I don't remember names, but it's like, oh, that's. I thought it was. I was like, oh, that's a good twist. The girl's actually evil. That's
I
nice.
mean, yeah, that's a good twist for like the overall story. But like, her name is Elsa, by the way.
No, thank you.
Let it
That
go.
That name is forever tarnished by Disney. Damn them.
Well, it's owned by Disney now.
To be fair, they did improve her character a little bit in Frozen 2.
She did. They did.
Ruby, you and I have to have a long conversation since those films have been on loop at my fucking house because of my little second cousin. So
That
we're
sounds
gonna
like
have
a
a long.
personal problem.
Yeah, it is a personal problem. But you know what's the personal problem? No, there was no growth. In fact, I say Elsa regressed.
Damn.
Oh, Anna, don't marry the first person you meet. That's silly. You should totally live in this forest with me. Yes, I should.
I mean, why not? Why not?
Yo, like she didn't even try to resist. Like, yeah, I'm gonna live in this forest with you. Absolutely, Honey Lemon or whatever the fuck your name is.
Honey Lemon.
They had like native names. I don't know.
Honey Lemon.
Something like that.
Oh my god, that sounds like a Bond girl name. Shit.
Oh God, it does. Which is one of the inspirations for Indiana Jones. So there you go.
Hey, there you go.
You can tell. Hold on, you can tell that Indy was inspired by, especially Sean Connery Bond, because of the scenes with the girl. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. Okay. 3 yeses and 2 no's mean yes. It's like, oh God.
Damn. Well, okay, hold on. I'm gonna push back on that a little bit because I don't remember Indy doing that in the movie.
I distinctly remember that in the third one, Elsa was trying to like resist.
Oh yeah, she kissed him like, "How dare you kiss me?" And then she
Yeah.
kissed him back. She
Yeah,
kissed him back.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
it's so like stupid. It's so stupid.
It's
I'm like, wow, showing your bond, huh? Indy. Oh, speaking of that, the one scene that I didn't it weirded me out just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
When he's actually Dr. Jones at the university, and one of the girls has love
yeah.
on her eyes.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
what the? Hey yo!
Them college girls are swooning over Indy. Like that was very strange.
Indy ain't.
Well, and
Indy
it
ain't
was
dumb.
also
He-
clever too.
Indy ain't about to risk his whole career for some broad.
You want some college pussy, man?
I was just gonna say young broad, but okay.
I mean, hey, they're
Yeah,
technically.
sure. Let's go there.
I mean, hey, they're legal.
Oh my god. Anyway, give a whole new meaning to teacher's pet.
Oh Jesus!
What did you say a moment ago, Ruby? I'm trying to circle back to that.
Oh God, what were we even talking about?
No, about this, like what you just said about Indy being, because like honestly, him being Professor Jones or Dr. Jones or whatever he is at the school, it's like nice to know that like the reason why he goes on these expeditions is for scientific reasons. It's not to be a thief, but that's the other guy. That's the villain. Like he does it to make money. Indy does it to preserve like the actual history of the artifacts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It belongs in a museum.
This belongs in a museum.
But yeah, definitely, I like that he's trying to preserve the ancient artifacts and stuff like that. So I definitely like this motivation there.
Unless
Huh?
the federal government deems it a threat, in which case top men are on it.
Oh my God. Yeah, the government is great in these movies. But I think we covered almost pretty much everything in this movie. It's time to start closing things
pretty
out.
much all the bases.
Yep. Time to start closing things out and our grades. So overall, I think this movie is fantastic. Ends up being one of the best adventure movies of all time, one of the best action movies ever made. Spielberg and Lucas, did such a great job with this first movie. Given with a very little budget, they were able to do a lot. And Harrison Ford, I thought, was great as Indiana Jones. That was a very interesting character. Like I said, the action beats are awesome. I love Marion in this movie. I love the chemistry that she has with Indy. Pretty much the whole cast is great. The stuff with the Nazis was very interesting. The Ark of the Covenant was really cool. This movie's really, really dark, and I think it's absolutely glorious. But yeah, man, I can't say. However, though, this is not my favorite Indiana Jones movie. We'll get there when we get there. But
Next
Of
time.
course, you have to be weird with Indiana Jones too.
oh yeah, you know me, man.
Oh,
you
man.
know me.
His favorite is Crystal
Oh.
Skull.
I cannot confirm or deny. We'll get
Holy
there.
shit,
When
I
we
was
get
just joking. Holy shit, is it really?
No. Look, I'm not gonna. I'll reveal it when we get there. I'll reveal it when we get there.
There's only
I-
4 films. I know which one it is.
No, yeah, I know what it is too, but I'll save it for
It's
later.
everyone's, like, it's either this film or the third one that everyone loves.
Okay, fine. Why am I keeping this secret? It's
Last
Crusade.
Crusade.
Last
I was
Crusade
gonna
is
say, like, it's just process of elimination.
really
if there were more movies, I probably would have gotten away with that, but I guess not. But yeah, this
I mean,
is
who
not-
knows? Like, who knows? I told DL this earlier, Ruby, but Spielberg has seen The Dial of Destiny, and his response to Mangold was, "Holy shit! I thought I was the only one that could make these films."
So
Dude, I'm at this point. I'm not even surprised because I have faith that James Mangold could make a good Indiana Jones film. Because like I've seen Logan, I've seen him do
In
Ford
Mangold
v
we trust.
Ferrari.
Yeah.
He is a wild card. I feel like people
Can't
are
wait for his-
sleeping on James Mangold hard.
Oh yeah, I agree. I can't. He really is one of my favorite directors right now in Hollywood, and honestly, I told y'all this earlier. Can't wait for whenever he gets to Swamp Thing.
oh yeah.
So,
But yeah.
yeah.
Sorry. Okay. But yeah. So yeah, this is not my favorite. I know it's surprising for people because like a lot of people say that this is the best one of the entire quadrilogy, which I definitely see that.
It's a saga at this point, or series.
It's a saga with quintology now, but yeah, like there's certain like character moments and stuff that I appreciated more in the third movie, which we'll talk about when we get there. But I definitely think this movie is excellent. It is one of the best films ever made, at least in my opinion. So I give Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. I give it a solid A. Excellent movie. All right, Ruby.
Oh yeah. Honestly, we've pretty much just hit all the bases here. I mean, there really isn't much else to go over here with Raiders. I mean, to say that Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the best films out there is like saying that water is wet. You know, it's pretty clear as night and day as to why a lot of people would go back to this film and see how monumental it was, like especially back in the day, with the things that they could do with it. Obviously, you know, it's not, if we're talking about like the perfect like movie of all time, it's definitely not going to be Raiders here. But I think in terms of like adventure, this is probably almost as solid as you're going to get with adventure type films. I feel like a lot of films after this have tried to replicate the same formula that Indiana Jones had, maybe in a different perspective as well. But at the end of the day, like if you're trying to make an adventure film, rule number one, you're not beating Raiders. It's that good. There really is nothing else to go over with it. It's just that good. And you're hearing this from a guy that appreciates like a lot more of Star Wars over Indiana Jones. It's not really one of my like overall like favorite franchises. Like I like the Indiana Jones films, but it's not ones that I like go to every now and then. Like that's Star Wars and MCU for me. But Raiders, it's still such an amazing movie, dude. I would join the A club with you. I'd give it an A as well.
Awesome. And finally, we got Meta.
DL is one of those few people that actually really doesn't like the way that I review movies.
Oh yeah, your grading system's all over the place.
It's all over the place, he says.
To be fair, I did used to do percentages before I went to letters.
Yeah, that's a super complicated system to have too.
Yeah. don't ask me about 2019 Ruby.
Okay, what about 2019.1 Ruby?
Moving on.
That's a percentage. Listen, in fact, DL, I'll say this live and now. One of my old reviews actually got an upgrade. I actually decided to change it. Snyder Cut's a 2 out of 5 for 1 out of 5.
You know what? I still
This film, though, if we're going by your letter system, you got a nice B for me.
You know what? I'm not shocked. I am not shocked. I knew you were going to give it
Pretty
some
good.
Sort of B.
It's pretty good. Not, in my opinion, not the best. I still think that I'm honestly going to say this, and when we get to the third one, I may change this, but I really am expecting, since it was at least for the time, it was the end of the trilogy, I expect Last Crusade to be my A.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. Well, those are our thoughts on Raiders of the Lost Ark. Tell us, what did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment your thoughts down below. and let us know. So, the next Indiana Jones film we will be talking about is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That's going to be a very interesting one. Tune in for that when it comes out.
Doom!
Yeah, there will be doom and gloom with that stream.
Just like there was for Lucas.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a whole ordeal too. But we'll get there.
We have to actually talk about like the history of what happened with this film in order to talk about what happened to the film.
Absolutely, we do. But if you guys enjoyed this live stream, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so please hit that subscribe button, hit that like. Don't be a ninja watcher. Any type of interaction would help a lot. Go ahead and plug trolls. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Go ahead, plug your stuff, Ruby.
Oh yeah, you already know where to find me: Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram, Twitter. You already see my ad at Ruby Live. I did say that I was going to try and open up a Discord at one point, but I'm honestly not too good with Discord, so don't expect that anytime soon. But you can find me on all 4 of the other platforms that I listed off. I mean, twitch.tv/RubyGurby. I'm not very active on it, like I said, but I do plan to get back onto it at some point. YouTube.com/C/RubyGurby. I am planning. I know I say this every single time where I plan on trying to get some film content out there, get some like reviews and rankings going on and all this other crap. But again, wedding season is coming up for me. I don't have a lot of time to do all of that stuff.
Exactly. So and on top of that, I am having to binge The Bad Batch and Mandalorian because we haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah. Don't even ask me about that. Anyway, that's where you'll find me, guys. Really appreciate it.
Good Lord. I haven't even watched anything from Star Wars since Mando Season 2, so I'm further behind than y'all.
Jesus Christ, man. Go ahead and plug your stuff, Meta.
I'm nowhere. And everywhere. Because I am...
Bitch, I just subscribed to your YouTube.
Wait, what?
Bitch, I just subscribed to your YouTube. Do not try to hide.
I don't have anything. I'm a wanderer of this platform. No, I'm kidding. You can find me. I have my Twitter handle in my, down there at the most meta, and you can find me on YouTube at, as it says right here, Friendly Neighborhood Meta. Currently, right now, I am doing live streams of indie games and all that. Excuse me. Right now, I am currently going through both Coffee Talk games. So, and I actually, just a little bit after this stream is done, I will be starting one up to continue on with my, adventures of just chilling and making coffee.
Sweet. Sounds good. As for me, I'm still continuing on talking about the Transformers movies with Big B. So the next one we will be talking about is Transformers: The Last Night. Unfortunately,
oh God, I thought you guys stopped doing that.
No. We're seeing this through. We are seeing this through.
Oh God.
We go get through this garbage so we can get to greener pastures.
Greener pastures, my ass. That shit hasn't been good since the first one, and I'm right.
What, you didn't like Bumblebee?
No.
I mean, I didn't love.
It needed to stop.
I didn't love
the
Bumblebee
first one.
either. I didn't love Bumblebee either, but we'll get there when we get there. But at least I thought that wasn't as bad as the Michael Bay films. And am I expecting Rise of the Beast to be good? No, but looking at that trailer, I'm like, oh, this looks like stuff I actually want to see now.
What about the casting?
What about the casting?
I want to know what your thoughts on the casting.
I mean, Pete Davidson as Mirage. It's a strange choice, but it's whatever.
Who do they get as RC again?
I don't know, actually.
Lisa Koshy?
Oh, Liza Koshy?
Liza Koshy?
The YouTuber?
American media personality, apparently.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, this means you can have a shot at being in a Transformers movie.
Jesus Christ. I mean, she's a media personality now because she's doing more like media stuff now. But she started out as a YouTuber, so I'm like, wow, okay. Now that I'm going to be thinking about Liza the entire time when RC's talking, I'm like, that's Liza Koshy. Get that money, girl. Anyway, so we're talking about the Transformers movies. Eventually,
seeing this through.
Yeah, we're seeing it through. Whenever we finish binging Bad Batch and Mandalorian season 3, we will give you our spoiler thoughts on that. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to be out this weekend, and you'll have a spoiler discussion next Monday.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt you, DL, but you know what comes out Thursday, right?
Huh?
What's Thursday?
Other than Guardians, I don't know.
May the 4th.
Oh!
Star Wars Vision Season 2 drops.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be watching that, but unfortunately, we won't be able to give you our thoughts until we finish Bad Batch and Mandalorian, so I'm so sorry, guys.
God damn it.
We're so behind. We are so behind. I'm so
Who
sorry.
Who is we?
No, me and Ruby and Big B and Beeflo, we talk about the Star Wars stuff, so we normally do it together. But I'm excited for Visions. I didn't realize it was out this weekend. I'm so excited. I can't wait to watch it.
Yes, it is. And I actually wanted to talk to you about that, DL, because we were the only two in our group that actually liked it.
Really?
I believe so.
Oh, well, wait, that's right, because everyone else was like, meh about it.
Everyone was like, lightsaber helicopter, that's dumb. And I'm like, we're like, suspension of disbelief, bitch.
Like, that's all you got from that is like helicopter lightsabers dumb.
Well, also, how is someone riding a starfighter when there's space? And I'm like, again, suspension of disbelief. This is not canon.
Yeah, this is not canon. It's obviously taking liberties.
There's a difference between this and Carrie Poppins.
Carrie Poppins.
Like, I'm sorry. There's a difference. Man. Anyway, I could go on that Star Wars stuff, man, but I'm gonna anyway. I just wanted to let you know that's coming out May 4th.
I definitely will be watching that. But yeah, we will get our we'll have a podcast about that. You just gotta be patient because we got to do Bad Batch and Mandalorian season 3.
Good Lord!
But
well, you know what? No, I'll save what I have to say after we go off and for backstage.
Fair enough. And then yes, we will eventually finish the Wizarding World stuff. I know it's been a minute since we did Sorcerer's Stone, but we will continue with those.
To be fair, you actually are. I hate to keep interrupting, but like to be fair, with everything going on, you are really picking the best time to stop with that.
I mean, yeah, I know it's a bunch of stuff going on with the yeah, like the new series is coming, a new reboot is coming. I'm like,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's exactly it. Nothing else to do with J.K. Rowling at all. Nothing at all.
I mean, yeah, sure. But like, even though I am interested with the reboot, but yeah, I still want to.
You were the first person to say that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Is that another?
I have met. You were the. I know you're the first person to say that. That is a
hot take for the road.
Yes, that is a hot take.
Yes, I am interested with the Harry Potter reboot.
Go off, DL. Let them know.
Do I think it's too soon? Yeah, I do. But
it's been 20 years.
I mean, for certain people, they're like, no, it's too soon, man. Like, dude, Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out in 2012.
11.
Like, thank you. 2011.
It's been a decade since the last one, sure.
I mean, yeah, you have the Fantastic Beasts movies, but like...
I was going to say, you're currently working on Fantastic Beasts, even though they're not doing well in box.
That's like comparing a thoroughbred to a midget pony. That's what that is.
What the fuck?
Am I wrong? Am I wrong about that? Like,
I mean, I like Fantastic Beasts movies, but I
went downhill so fast, though.
I get it.
As an outsider looking in, I'm like, damn, that just crashed faster than the Hindenburg. Oh
yeah, but I am interested in this because, look, I think the only reason they're doing this is because they couldn't get the original cast to come back. I think that's the only reason why that's happening.
I wonder why that is.
I mean, yeah, it's a bunch of stuff.
Maybe because a certain person's an executive producer and they have said on record they are never going to work for her again.
Yeah, which I totally understand. But I'm also interested in a more book accurate version of Harry Potter, because what I keep hearing from the Potterheads is that, oh, they cut so much out from the books. Oh, these characters aren't how they are in the books. They're so much more interesting. So I'm like, hopefully this version will. I would like to see how much better like the story could be with certain characters and what stuff they cut out. So that's probably one of the other.
Is that what they're called, by the way?
What?
Potterheads?
Potterheads.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what they're called.
Take one of those T's out. That's what I'm calling them.
Damn. I
Y'all
do
be
not
smoking.
endorse
Y'all be
what Matt is
smoking.
saying. I do
Y'all
not
be
endorse
smoking if you think this is an actual good franchise. I'm sorry. I'm going there. Like,
Oh boy. Oh boy. This is I probably broke my record with how many times I put this up. But
I
anyway.
am a massive. I do not like Harry Potter at all. I think it's awful. That's on record, by the way.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. And then finally, I'm going to try and bring back the Disney cast because The Little Mermaid's coming out. So hopefully I'll have
Have fun sitting through another bad reboot.
Yeah, I won't. Me and Meta talked about this before we started, Ruby, but I did watch Peter Pan and Wendy, and
God help him.
Yeah, that was not
Yet
very good.
Hold on. Yet
Dude,
another.
you should have seen that from the start. I knew that after watching the first preview of that. I'm like, this is already dog shit. This is already
They're
terrible.
soulless cash grabs. Let's just call it what they are. They are soulless cash grabs.
They certainly are. Happy 100-year anniversary, everybody!
Jesus, Disney's losing its soul, and Warner Brothers is slowly dying. Like
And the
centennials, man.
the writer strike is among
The
us.
writers. That could be a whole stream in and of itself. But anyway,
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Disney has already lost its magic for years, and Warner Brothers has always been a shit company. It will be a shit company until the end of time.
damn.
So, I mean,
Even
you
with
know,
Discovery,
But
you're like, no.
where's the hot take?
there
Oh, yeah,
is no
sorry.
hot take. That's just no. There is no hot take. That is just fact. That is just fact.
Ruby, you and I could go-
everybody knows
Let me-
that
let me-
Warner
let me-
Brothers is
I-
absolute shit
God,
as a company.
I do not want to prolong this stream longer than it is, but I have to ask this question. Exactly what time point, what time frame did Disney quote unquote lose its magic?
2010s.
I disagree. Wrap it up, yeah.
Wait, no. When do you think? When did you think?
Recently.
So you think just now it's starting to lose?
Like the 2010s was a reinvigorating period for Disney, even though like we talked about the 2000s, like Tangled was a massive hit, and Tangled's a really good film. Like if you look at and that was just the first one of the CG era. Like this is when Disney also started the CG era, was the 2010s. So you have to go back and look at all the films that released, which are a lot, from the 2010 era. I'm having to actually. Let's see. Okay. Oh, dear God. Yeah, there. I will say there are a lot of bad movies, but they are not animated movies that are bad.
Okay.
But here's the thing is that like the number of animated movies have gone down specifically because Disney has been solely focused on trying to get live action reboots, and there has not been a single one that has been not only really good but better than the original.
Like I will give a sort of light pass to Maleficent because it really wasn't.
Oh hell no!
No. Hear me out. No. I'm not saying it's a good movie or that I like it. I'm just saying it was a different angle to tell the Sleeping Beauty story. So at least it was trying to be original with that. Other than that,
Yeah, at least
It
it was.
wasn't good.
I will agree. At least it was trying to be original in
it
like
was
some
trying.
regard, but
It was
like,
actually trying. The others, like Jungle Book. Oh, Jungle Book is it's literally the
I
only
actually
good-
like Jungle Book.
Jungle Book actually was a decent one. Yes,
I
that was
don't
actually one of the
understand
saving
how.
graces.
Like, how is it? It's just the same story. The only big difference that makes it that I actually care about is that Bill Murray is Baloo and Christopher Walken is the well, now he's an Anthropithecus, but he was an orangutan in the original.
I mean, I think it's just because like it feels more adult than the original, and it's not as goofy.
But anyway.
I mean, because
But it still has its goofy elements.
It still has its goofy elements here and there. I'm not the biggest fan of the original anyway, so like.
DL, honestly, this
Oh,
is
that's where
something
we disagree.
you know, because movies are your thing. So honestly, you could do a Disney by the decade, like recap thing, and we could go over all of this because, my God, like a lot of this is like either Disney Channel or off-brand stuff. Like, 2010 was the last of the Narnia movies.
Well, yeah, that's what I was doing with the Disney cast. I was talking about all the different versions of the I was talking about all the different versions of 101 Dalmatians. Well, we're trying to cover everything.
I know, but like doing it. I guess you're technically still doing what I suggested, but it's just like doing it by like a decade, because that way you're looking at what the company was going through its filmography and what it was going through the history of the finances and all that other stuff.
Oh, that type of details. Oh, I don't know if I'm qualified for that. I have to do a whole bunch of research for that.
This is when the Prince of Persia movie came out.
Oh Jesus, I gotta talk about that shit.
And Secretariat, Tron Legacy, Alice in Wonderland.
Oh my gosh.
Something
the
called
Lion
You
King
Again.
remake. The Lion King remake.
No, the Lion King
no.
remake came later.
I mean, anyway, that's something I had to talk about eventually. But anyway, we drawn out this street long enough. I think you've already tuned out. Anyway, that's all we have for you, Indiana Jones fans, and we will see you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. I hate snakes!